Hey everybody, it's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. It's about 2 o'clock. I am in Tochahatchee Wildlife Management Area and I'm following Ron in his Tacoma. Ron and I are just out here cruising around. We're actually gonna camp at a place called Lake Mills Park. Alright, so we went down to the river. There wasn't much to see. It is really busy there and there's literally parking for like 3 vehicles. So we didn't really hang out too long. Had to do like a 15-point turn without going into the canal. But we're about to head back into the woods and see what's left at Tochahatchee. This is actually really pretty back here. If you're looking for an afternoon drive or just somewhere to kill some time and take some hiking paths, I really recommend coming out here. There's a huge loop you can drive. It takes about an hour. You could easily spend an entire afternoon here. Ron and I are about to leave and we're gonna head towards Lake Mills camping area. And we're gonna set up camp there for the night. So in the last video Ron and I did camping, I ripped off my tongue jack off the trailer. So we're at Tractor Supply and I'm gonna pick out another tongue jack and hopefully I can get it welded on soon, because it's annoying not having one. So $50 later, I think I found the right one. Comes with a piece that welds to the trailer. They have these ones which are just as strong for 24 and 37, but they're really short, so it's not going to be tall enough. Ugh, so 50 bucks it is. We've made it to Lake Mills Park. Now we're just winding our way back to the camping area.
Today we're going to be preparing lobster tail while cooking. As you can see here, the lobster has the hard upper shell and the bottom part right here. There's many ways that you can fillet out a lobster for cooking, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a pair of kitchen shears and we're going to cut from about here all the way down to there. Now as you can tell, the shell is already a little bit broken up. That's fine, you can pull that off later. And also too, you don't want to cut the meat. That's not your objective here. Your objective is to just cut the top part of the shell. Then what you're going to want to do is pull the shell back. And pull out any little shell remnants that pop out as well. This happens sometimes with Florida lobsters, and they're warm water lobster compared to like your like Maine lobsters, which are like a cold water lobster. And you want to pull the meat out. And once you pull the meat out, you bring the shell back up underneath and rest it on top as such. And just brush off any little bits of hard shell that leave off on the top. which there really shouldn't be too many. Pull off this piece right here. Bring it up. And then rest it. And kind of open it up a little bit just like such. And that right there is exactly how it should sit. Alright, so now what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to take some butter and place it into like a bowl or a little pot or pan, because you're going to need lots of butter for this to not only brush the lobster before you cook it, but also to dip in while you're eating it. So I like to put a couple healthy good old globs of butter in there, and then a little bit of salt, and then
what's wrong with that salt?
well, I stabbed it with the Inu stake that holds the rain fly on, and it broke it.
So what you're saying is tent stakes don't make good
salt pokers?
Salt openers.
No, but it did open the salt. So place a little bit of salt in there, and then normally you'd want to add like a little bit of garlic salt or some paprika. Not only does paprika give it a little bit of fire, but it also helps give it a nice like red coloring on the top of it. But we don't have any either of that. But we got our butter in a little fireproof pan. Now you can either set it on a stove, or we already have a grill running. So I'm just gonna throw it right here on the grill for right now, just to let it kind of heat up and melt down. Okay, so for our meat that we're gonna have with our lobster tail, we're gonna have chuck eye steak. A chuck eye steak is, they only have 2 per cow. They're not a very common cut of meat. Every now and again the grocery stores have them. It comes off the 5th rib of the cow. Your 6th through 11th rib is your standard rib eye. So this is not a rib eye. Just because it says rib eye in it doesn't mean it's your normal rib eye that you would eat. It has good marbling in it. It's relatively cheap, and it'll be a good thick cut of steak. Alrighty, so our butter's done, melted down. We got a little bit of salt and pepper in there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna initially just take some butter and pour it across the top and brush it on. What you really want to do is really saturate the meat with butter to really get it on there. The key thing with lobster is lots and lots of butter. Now, our steaks here, I initially at home, I covered them down with lots of salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic salt, and threw them in a bag and had them in the refrigerator for a little while. So they should be nice and seasoned. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we've got our paper towel folded up here, and our grill grate's a bit dirty. Also, we don't really want none of the meat sticking to it, because that just creates chaos. So the folded part right here, we're going to take our oil and we're going to dump it across it, and that way we get a good coating of oil on there. Then we're going to take our tongs, so that way we don't burn ourselves and or light ourselves on fire, and hold the tongs as such, so it'll be like a brush. So we're going to come over to our grill surface and just lather the oil onto the grill grate. By doing this, it helps get off any bits of dirt, various contaminants that might be there, and also gives it a nice good non-stick coating. Already with the grill grate being really hot, even though this is an outdoor grill, there shouldn't be any germs or anything like that on there to begin with anyway. Alrighty, so now that we got our grill grate already prepped and ready, we're going to go ahead and just lightly set our steaks on there. And we're going to let those jokers cook up. It should take about maybe 5 to 6 minutes aside. We want to go for like a good medium rare, but we'll play that out by ear. They are quite thick steaks. We're going to go ahead and add our lobster tail. And as you can see with the lobster tail, they're a dark brown right in here. The way you'll know when it's done is once they're a solid red all the way through. So what we're going to do is we're going to set them tail side down first. Just right on the grill grate. This one wants to not cooperate. And there we go. We're going to let those rest for right now. Alright, so we got our scuttle just about heated up over here. And what we're going to place on this is we got some butter, we got a little bit of oil on there, and we're gonna place some green beans. All right, so here we are. We got some green beans right here. I've already cut them up. I've added some olive oil and butter and some oil in the pan, and we're just kind of cooking them up here in the scuttle for right now. All right, since the green beans have been frying up in a little bit of oil, they're done now. We're just gonna set them on a paper plate with a paper towel. What the paper towel and plate will do is help absorb up some of this grease and oil, so that way whenever you're eating the meal, it's not so heavily covered with oil. Alrighty, so the steaks are ready to pull off now. We're going to pull the steaks off. And now the lobster tails, as you can tell, they're mostly red in color. But what we're going to do is we're going to flip them over and set the meat directly on the grill grate for, I'd say, about 1 minute or so. Just to really finish off them cooking. Alrighty, so our lobster tails are done. You can see they came out this wonderful pink-red color. Just going to go ahead and set them down. They're going to kind of tumbleweed around on the plate, but they'll do for now. We at least got them off the grill. Alright, so the potatoes are done cooking. We didn't actually get on video us cooking the potatoes, but I sliced them up. They're fresh potatoes. We put a little bit of oil on there and fried them up like some home fries. We're just going to go ahead and scrape them off into a pot with paper towels and throw them all over the ground. Alright, so here's a fancy but super easy to make meal while camping. We've got our lobster tail right here, our green beans, our potatoes, and our beef.
So we are literally under attack from raccoons right now. They're coming from all sides. I'm trying to scare them. We don't have any food laying out or anything. That's the thing. It's pretty bad though. The raccoons are actually fighting with each other. We couldn't see them. They were probably 12 feet from us at most. And our flashlights were just that dull where we couldn't see them, but they started fighting with each other and just made it even more freakish.
Alright, so every trip, it seems to be like a thing now where we just post a sticker up here. So we don't have a lot of choices, but we have this slow please for the manatees. Shout out to the manatees. And being slow for the manatees. Slow like a manatee. So we're just going to throw this up here.
Dude, there's a raccoon like right here. Oh, where's my light? He's literally like 6 feet away, but he's so still now you can't see him. They're so loud because these palmettos are so thick. And you can tell when they get like 2 feet from the trailer.
So anyways, now that we're done with the raccoons, even though I've been drinking a little bit,
It's a little crooked.
the sticker's relatively decent placement.
If you want your Overland Florida sticker, just DM me on Instagram or Facebook message me. Shout out to Freedom Overland. He designed the sticker and he printed them off for me. Well, it's 11:30. I think the raccoons went to sleep. But I think we hear hogs. We hear grunting. We don't hear raccoon noises. So it's midnight, and after quite a few beers, what better time to install a solar system, I guess you'd say, in your truck. So we have a charge controller right here. We got the wires that are gonna run. They're already ran underneath this plastic through the hole in the firewall. And the hood is up. And we have a magnetic flexible solar panel mounted right there.
Alrighty, so we're about to make breakfast. We got a bit of a late start this morning. Got a little bit of extra sleep in. So we're not going to go through a whole full-blown breakfast with eggs and bacon and everything. But I pre-mixed up some crepe mix yesterday before we came out here. And I'm going to go ahead and cook up some crepes for breakfast. What a crepe basically is it's basically a pancake, except there's no thickening agent. So it's still your same, you know, flour, water, salt, butter, eggs. But you don't have your like baking soda, baking powder, as you do with pancakes. Now the basis behind a crepe is it's going to be like a really thin pancake. So when you pour it, you want to just pour, you want to make sure you lather up your pan with butter and then just do a thin crepe out about as such.
Well, breakfast was delicious. It's almost 11 o'clock. We're starting to pack up. From here, we're going to go to Jeepers Den. I got to get some stuff from my CB radio so I can finally install it and actually talk to people when we trail ride instead of just using smoke signal. So let us know in the comment section if you liked cooking with Ron. I think we're just going to start making separate videos on just camping cooking ideas. Thanks for following along, and after today, my Jeep is going to look a lot different. In a couple hours, I'm going to St. Cloud to pick up some Jeep parts off of the Facebook Marketplace that I found. And then I'm going to spend the rest of the day installing them, so Jeep should look totally different in the front end.
Hey, it's Ron on this episode of Cooking with Ron While Camping.